Mr. Amrit, thank you very much for allowing Amrita University to interview you. And I'd like to just begin by asking you where you were born and where you grew up, please.
So I was born in Nagpur, and I grew up in Delhi. But before that, I spent a couple of years with my grandmother in my village in Tanjore district. I think it has been predominantly up to my science degree in Delhi, and that's where I grew up.
Okay. And if I can ask you, at a very young age, did you have ambitions that made you think that this is where you'll be at the time of your life now?
I don't think we plan that way, but I think there are a lot of influences which work on you with regard to your own family upbringing and what you are talked to about, what you are inducted into. So, example, mathematics as a way of growing up. My father was very interested in mathematics, and he would teach us a lot of mathematics. Or science as a subject. Or reading habits which get developed in very early days because you see your parents reading, and then when you go to the school you get some phenomenal teachers who encourage that particular dimension. So I think the early influences and what we are able to pick up from that and carry it as an ongoing process is what is the most important. But coming from a middle class family where my father was in the government service, the value systems, the ethics, how you conduct yourself, and the importance of studies, these were all reinforced on a continuous basis.
And if you think on your professional life once you began it, what were the main qualities that you thought you obtained in childhood or growing up, either by you getting it or your parents having it or something that really helped you in your professional career?
Fundamentally, two or three things that were very, very important, which I could see in my parents. The importance of hard work, importance of reading habits and searching for things to experiment with, and more importantly, doing something with your own hands. I think that makes a phenomenal difference to build your confidence, which I've seen over the years, because any operational experience where you do things with your hand, whether it's programming, whether it is hardware, whether it is building something, etc., or showing certain leadership traits with regard to managing teams or collaborating with teams. I think all of these come and very handy because the way you grew up and the way these things were reinforced. I think those were some experiences which I can relate to, which I can see, which enabled me to carry forward in a more aggressive, accelerated manner rather than aggressive manner.
And if I look at the TCS company and companies, you made it grow from almost zero to a tremendously large size and a dominant presence in the world. How does that happen? I mean, how do you begin that journey and how do you go make it grow continuously?
I went through a few things. One is every time you reach a certain milestone, you raise the bar. And you don't worry about you have reached the end of the road and so what do I do next or something. So one is the whole personal scorecard with regard to raising the bar is very important, because people see in you whether when you say something you can do it or not. They got to earn that rather than preach that, saying that no problem is insurmountable unless you try it and unless you do it. Second thing is the importance of teams and then taking the help of others, where somebody is good in some dimension and you have got to use that dimension rather than being what is the negative aspects of in a person. Every one of us has certain negative qualities, but then reinforcing the positive qualities and using them is very fundamental. Raising the bar on a continuous basis, reinforcing the positive forces, collaborating and working together is what you see to make sure that you can keep growing. Second dimension is absolutely focusing on what is it that you want out of a relationship. Is it a simple contract or is it an ongoing relationship, which I learned from a number of corporations I dealt with. For example, you learn something from IBM, you learn something from GE, you learn from Motorola, you learn from American Express, etc., etc. or you learn from the government in this country, or from some of the companies we dealt with, whom you did work for, or with the state governments you did work for. So a cross-section of clients, cross-section of opportunities where you focus continuously with single-minded that I need to do something, whether it's for a national cause, whether it's for a client to make a difference, but more importantly the relationships which stand the test of time. So that the trust where they see you delivering on your promises, and they can say that if I do something with this person through this organization, I can rest, saying that it will be done. And what is my responsibility as part of that, if you articulate that adds an extra dimension where it's not you versus them, but it is together what we can do. So I think this is very, very important.
And if you look at the growth of the company, with the number of people that you hired, it's phenomenal. And if you look at the thousands of people that were hired 5 years ago, now tens of thousands, and now probably even larger numbers in the future, it seems that it'll be very, very difficult to set a value system that will last with them. Each person's coming from a different angle. So how do you do that? How do you make sure the Tata philosophy is within them?
One is what we call as the Tata Code of Conduct, which is given to every single employee when they join. Invariably, one of the greatest things about this brand, about this group is, even in the colleges, even in the locations we go to for recruitment, there is a benchmark which they say, if you join Tata, these are the expectations, I better have these qualities, or at least make sure what those qualities are. Value, respect for the professional, ethics, and non-compromising certain ways we do business. I think these are already reinforced when students come to us for appearing for an interview. With the Tata Code of Conduct which we give them, we only reinforce that. On top of it, we layer a complete technology framework which I can disseminate every information to every individual in the company through a digital framework. That completely says, this is what has been done, this is what is being said, this is what we mean by a Tata way of growing up, this is what we mean by business excellence, and this is what we mean by governance, this is what we mean by ethics, values. You continuously reinforce through the digital environment. And finally, the ethics and the whistleblower policies are so well ingrained that if you or I or anybody feels something is not going right, you have complete freedom to report, and then there will be we make sure that we look at that very seriously. And so I think it is how the culture of the organization has evolved and how you disseminate that culture by not only believing, not only by reading, but also practicing it and living those value systems. It's not something that is standing alone. It's like quality. Quality is not something that stands outside. Quality has to be integrated into the way you do things. So that the ultimate end quality, whether it's integrated quality management system, they looked at it as a process, as an integration, as a way into the business rather than something standalone basis which you plug into the business. That's the difference.